I selected a portion of the book that talks about Brent Staples, who happens to be a New York Times columnist. And Staples talked to Dr. Steele about his experience when he was a student at the University of Chicago, and how he, as a young man, walked to the college through the Chicago Hyde Park neighborhood, and how just walking, he experienced what people thought of him without knowing him. So I'm going to share a little piece of the book with you. Again, the book is called Whistling Vivaldi. And here's Staples talking about his experience. I tried to be innocuous but didn't know how. I began to avoid people. I turned out of my way into side streets to spare them the sense that they were being stopped. Out of nervousness, I began to whistle and discovered that I was good at it. My whistle was pure and sweet, and also in tune. On the street at night, I whistled popular tunes from the Beatles to Vivaldi's Four Seasons. The tension drained from people's bodies when they heard me, and a few even smiled as they passed by. So it talks about he reduced stereotypes and threats by whistling music that was popular music, the Beatles and Vivaldi's Four Seasons, just to make people comfortable. So I leave you with that thought, and the book, again, Whistling Vivaldi. I want to thank you for the opportunity of allowing me to welcome you to Tri-C. Thank you for being here. Enjoy the readings that you're going to hear today. And I'm going to now turn it over to Jack with our MC.
Thank you very much for your words, Dean Del Rosario. Okay, we're going to start with our first reader today. Our first reader is Marjorie Malcolm, a native of Cleveland and Tri-C alumni. She's president of the Western Reserve Section of National Council of Negro Women Incorporated and current treasurer of NCNW's Life Members Guild and member of Tau Gamma Delta Sorority Incorporated, IOTA chapter. Marjorie spent 20 years in management positions with the Greater Cleveland Regional Transit Authority and with Cuyahoga County Board of Development Disabilities for 13 years before retiring. Marjorie is a dedicated volunteer at the Maple Heights Food Pantry and continues to advocate for improvement for the quality of life for African American women, their families, and the community. Please welcome Marjorie Malcolm.
Good morning. Everybody is welcome to all the students in here, and I welcome you too, but I also welcome my NCNW sisters that came out to enjoy this African American weekend. You know, when Professor Rankin asked me to speak, she said, "Oh, you can talk about the National Council of Negro Women." I know all about that. Then she turned around and said, "Oh no, I want you to talk about your personal legacy." Light bulb went on in my head. Personal legacy, I don't have any money to leave anybody. But then as I began to read, a legacy is the fundamentals of being a human being. It's about life, it's about learning. You know, then I thought about what I've done in the past, what I'm doing now, and what I'm going to do in the future. Wow. Then I thought about it. Well, I do have a legacy. I have grandchildren, I have great-grandchildren, and I have my children. And I thought about it. I said, I got a house to leave, a little bit of money to leave, maybe, because it's all about me right about now. But then I thought about my mom. My mom's 93 years old. And everybody says, "Oh, you're just like your mom." Yeah, I'm just like my mom. I followed the fundamentals that my mom laid down step by step. It was about love. It was about respecting one another, dignity, and those few words, please and thank you. Please and thank you open doors when nothing else would. Education. My mom was all about education. When we grew up, you got an A because it was excellent. You got a B because you were good. No such thing as a C. C was average. No, you're more than average. So you didn't come home with C's. higher education, it was iffy because we were what you all call poor now, but we didn't know we were poor. But my brothers, one went to the Air Force, he got a master's. My other brother went to the Army. Well, back then, the government paid for education. He got a bachelor's. Oh, I got married, but when we left home, we had a foundation that my mom left. We were grown-ups then when we left home. But when I got into the National Council of Negro Women, there was another person that I admired just as much as my mom, Mary McLeod Bethune. She organized the National Council of Negro Women. She had high visions to advocate for women of African American descent. And today, the organization is 82 years old, and they are still advocating for women of African American descent. Dr. Bethune, I don't think she thought about a legacy. She had Bethune-Cookman College, a legacy, but when she got 78 years old, and this is what I read, she says, I'm going to leave my house and all the possessions to the Bethune Foundation. That was her legacy. But then as I read on and on, she said, you know, if I could leave another legacy, I would pass it on to Negroes everywhere in hopes that an old woman's philosophy would give them some kind of inspiration. So she jotted it out on paper, and as I read it, it was just like my mom's philosophy, but Mom never wrote it down. Dr. Bethune said, if I could leave a legacy, I would leave you love. Love builds, it's positive, and it's helpful. I leave you hope. Yesterday, our ancestors endured the degradation of slavery, but they maintained their dignity. I leave you the challenge of developing confidence in one another. This kind of confidence will aid the economic rise of the race, bringing together the pennies, the nickels, and the dollars of our race and plunging them into economic, useful channels. Dr. Bethune says, I leave you the thirst for education. Knowledge is the prime need of the hour. I leave you power. Power, intellectually directed, can lead to more freedom. I leave you faith. Faith in God is the greatest power, but great too is faith in oneself. I leave you racial dignity. I want Negroes to maintain human dignity at all cost. I leave you desire to live harmoniously with your fellow man. I leave you finally the responsibility to young people, because young people will rule this world. This is the legacy of my mom and Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune.